Hi everyone.
Hello.
It is Ariel and Matthias here. We are in our garden. Here's Ruthie.
Hi everyone.
Turn that off.
It is Ariel and Matthias
Whoa.
here.
We are in our. That's a good idea. Yeah, we're just about ready to get started, I guess.
Yeah, I think us saying hello got Ruthie very excited, and maybe she wants to say hi.
Maybe that's gonna rile her up further. Hey,
Here's
Ruthie.
Ruthie,
Hi, Bunny.
and we're really excited to be releasing our album.
Yeah.
Ruthie,
She wants down.
Ruthie is also very excited about this record, and as you can tell. And so we're gonna go through the record kind of song by song, and this is probably the first listen.
Yeah, first listen, and we'll put it up on Bandcamp, I think,
Right after we're done.
we're done. So the first song, track 1, is called No Peace, and some of you may have heard it before. We were playing it live for a while, and quiet, baby, good girl. We were playing it live for a little while, and we recorded it on a 7-inch. Here,
I got.
Okay. All right. Ruthie is going to have to go inside for a little bit. She gets really excited when people come over, and when we say hi, she thinks that people have come over. Anyway, the first song is called No Peace. It was on a 7-inch that we recorded with our friend Boohoo in Germany a few years ago, and we did a kind of garage rocky version of it then. And then we re-recorded it for this album and rearranged it a little bit. I play drums on the song. Darren Brown is playing the bass. Matthias is on guitar. Jake played piano. We've got Mara Pellerin on the trumpet. I played some synthesizer. I think Matthias played some tin whistle in there. Anyway, I think it's a cool song, and we're going to go to that now, and hopefully it will work. This is No Peace.
Sunlight hits my face like a belt strap slap from the parents in the olden days, and I wake up into the morning wishing I was an orphan. Why do I get the feeling something awful is about to happen? Why do I get the feeling we need heroes, jumping hurdles, ninja turtles, mighty morphin Power Rangers to save the day? No peace, no peace, no peace, no peace, no peace. My eyes and open up my laptop. I see peace in the Middle East flash across my browser. I see America sign the treaty. I see Mario and Luigi finally defeated Bowser. And I say, hey Ariel, wake up and check this out. Ringo was right, it's all peace and love now, love and peace. And she says, you're dreaming, you're just dreaming. Go back to sleep. There's no peace, no peace, no peace, no peace, Now is neither the time nor the place for peace. So put away your puppy dogs and your rainbows. You can't put a dent in the 1% with hugs. You can't smash the fascists with sappiness. No, nor the Nazis, whether old school or neo. So I'll leave you with a line I stole from Leo. There can be no peace for us, only misery, and the greatest happiness, but no peace. 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 No peace.
So that was No Peace.
That was the first song.
Yeah, you could hear Matthias's multi-layered tin whistles there towards the end.
Yeah, it's part of my secret identity as a tin whistlist. It's one of the instruments I've been playing for the longest amount of time, and it rarely comes out on stage. Never comes out on stage.
It has before, though.
Has it?
Yeah, well, when we did Stairway to Heaven.
That was recorder.
Oh,
I played
that's
recorder
true.
in that
That's
song.
true.
Um,
Oh, when we did You Can Call Me Al.
That's true.
at,
Yeah, that was my
at New Year's.
finest achievement as a tin whistlist. Was the solo, and You Can Call Me Al. Maybe it'll come out on stage more. I don't know.
That would be great.
I think it's something that the people
That's cool.
demand. People have been writing to me for years now, saying, "Why is there not more tin whistle in your show?"
Yeah,
And-
well, we are all about audience service.
Exactly. So yeah, stay tuned.
I
What's
put a
next?
couple of photos. I just want to explain the
Oh, yeah,
photos
explain the
that were there. I used some of the photos that we had from the recording session to go with that song, and including the scamper, which you can see behind us right there. That is, Jake took this old 70s camper trailer, put solar panels on it, and then built a recording studio into it. And it has a tiny little wood stove in there too. And that's where he mixed the whole album and recorded parts of some of the drums that he played. And,
Yeah.
it was kind of recorded all over the place. It's a real pandemic album, as everybody is making these days. But that is where the album was mixed, was in that cute little trailer. And there are some photos there, I think, from when we recorded a B-side to
The next song.
the next song. Yeah, what a great segue. I didn't even know.
Oh, come on.
Which is a song by Half Man, Half Biscuit called Lark Descending. And we recorded that all outside on a beautiful summer day on PEI, like today. And it was incredible. It was so much fun. So it's a really cool thing to have the scamper. You can record literally anywhere in the world that you want to record. So we'll
All through
definitely
the power of the sun.
be doing lots more of that in the future. The next song on the album, though, is called Nigel the Gannet. And you're probably aware, because I tried to make everyone aware, that I made a music video for this song. It was my first animation attempt. And so we have uploaded the music video into this OBS software, and hopefully you will see that as visual accompaniment to the song. So this was a single, so you might have already heard it, but regardless, it's song number 2. It goes like this.
They've all been making plans for Nigel, and by they I mean the ornithologists. They live in houses made of bricks and glass. Nigel lives alone at the edge of a cliff. The bird banders fill binders and books with his biography. note his habits and record his squawks on dictaphones. Meanwhile, Nigel wonders, why don't they ever ask me? I could tell them there's a difference between being lonely and being alone. Scientists published papers and secured some grants to repopulate Nigel's future neighborhood. With a concrete caster named Carl, they concocted a plan, but they couldn't have predicted Nigel's commitment to bachelorhood. Called to the concrete colony by a cassette, Nigel noticed the other birds didn't fly or flap around. He remembered an old French peacock had told him hell is other birds. Thought, well, this is just the kind of place I'd like to settle down. Nigel, he felt badly for the dumb scientists. Himself, he was no bird brain, and his heart was huge. So he chose a concrete mate, and he built her a nest. He figured it was what they wanted him to do. Nigel did most of the talking, but he was used to that. Usually they just sat there and stared out to sea. When he died, Carl carved Nigel's tiny tombstone's epitaph. Here lies Nigel the gannet, alone but never lonely.
So that was Nigel the gannet. Thank you so much for your kind words about the video.
It's an amazing video, Ariel. I just wanted to say.
Thanks. I had a lot of fun making it, and then Jake took all of the painted bits that I had made and reassembled it into a video game. So it's a side-scrolling video game where you can shoot all those plastic bottles and various other ocean plastic and some atomic waste and some oil barrels with fish skeletons. It's on our website. It's theburninghell.com/Nigel, and I highly recommend that you give it a spin because it's it's incredible.
I still have not beaten it.
Really?
No.
Oh wow.
I'm really bad at video games though, so it's not a shock.
It's a little challenging.
Can I take a little moment and talk about another piece of your art?
Okay.
Yeah. Ariel also designed the packaging, the cover, and everything for the 7-inch, which was put out through 9x9 Records in Liverpool for Record Store Day this year. And she mentioned before we played the video that the B-side of this, of Nigel the Gannet, is a half man, half biscuit song called Lark Descending. And we recorded it in the Scamper right here last summer. And this came out on Record Store Day, and we actually didn't see this physically in our hands until very, very recently. And we just got a few copies. And I kind of feel like an impromptu contest.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Is it a cool idea?
Sure, yeah.
Contests are always a cool idea.
I have to go to the places where people talks.
Yeah.
Talks.
So we have just a couple of copies of this. I don't know whether we'll be getting more. Record Store Day is a little complicated of an organization, and I don't know if we'll be getting more. If we do get more, we're going to bring some with us on tour in the fall. Mm-hmm. But whether or not we do get more, I want to give this one away.
Okay. How are you going to give it away?
I'm going to ask a skill testing question.
Okay. All right.
You may have heard us play Nigel the Gannet live before. You may have heard me introduce it before. Nigel the Gannet is based on a true story about a real gannet, actually named Nigel. I'm not sure if he was named Nigel in the gannet community, but by the humans who were sort of the custodians of his little world in the place where he lived, they called him Nigel. And the question is, in which nation, human nation, did Nigel spend the last several years of his life? First person to answer.
You're going to go back and forth between Facebook and YouTube.
You're going to have to go fast, Ariel.
All right.
And get that. So which nation did Nigel live at his days?
It's going to be a little bit of a delay. So we've just said this.
Be a little bit of a delay. Which nation... Which
I've got Paintball Magazine, New Zealand, over here on the YouTube. There we go.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I think I already have your address. So I'm going to mail you this copy of Nigel the Gannet.
I think you already have it.
I think you already have it.
I think you just said earlier that you've got it. Yeah, finally got the Nigel the Gannet single.
Oh, wow.
So Nathan Hart said New Zealand after that. And, we've got a few over on Facebook. I don't know who said it first.
Uh-oh.
Either Nathan Hart or Larry Wagner.
Oh, man. Okay,
Do you have two of them?
Yeah, okay. You know what? Everyone's a winner. I think we have exactly two.
Okay. Oh, do we get a copy then?
Well, hopefully. Eventually.
Okay. All right.
Send us your details, and we'll send you copies of the single in the mail. Based on the state of the mail these days, it'll take about a year and a half, but you will get one eventually. Thanks for playing Where in the World is Nigel the Gannet here at the Burning Hells Garbage Island release party. Sorry, that was a bit chaotic.
It's just hard because there's two
platforms.
Two platforms, yeah.
Yeah, contests are always difficult. I'd be a terrible Jeopardy host. That's why I didn't apply. Anyway, thank you for playing. We'll send you out some 7 inches. Should we
play the next song? Yeah. Is there anything you want? Okay, so the next song, the third song, is also a song that we've released as a single. It's called Bird Watching.
Right.
And this one we did record before for the what is it? It's a 10-inch. We did a lathe cut 10-inch that was limited to 77 copies, and by pre-order only. So some of you might have that. If you do, you might know that this song was on there. On that version, Jake and I played drums together, so there are 2 drum kits.
Yeah.
This one is...
I forgot about that.
A little more of a normal recording setup, and a little less chaotic, but yeah, still great.
It's a song called Bird Watching?
Yeah. I love the lyrics to this song. This is one of my faves. I think Matthias really knocked it out of the park on the lyrics.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried really hard.
I think you succeeded.
Crammed them in
really,
there.
There's a lot of words, and they're good words. Anyway, there's a video for this one too, by Aidan Searle, who lives in Halifax, and he did a great job.
Can we play the video somehow?
Yeah, let's play it right now.
Oh, fantastic.
So, here we go.
Tragedy minus glory equals just another story, like the prisoners who stayed behind in Plato's allegory, or the poor forgotten second last passenger pigeon. Anyone can fail, but truly losing takes ambition. I'm suspicious of ambitious folks, but I'll race you to the bottom. With clocks on tick-tock and you can smoke them if you got them. Carpeing every DM, no achievement, it's exhausting. If you need me, I'll be sitting on this island, bird watching. I've read the 7 Habits of Highly Ineffective People. I know I'm probably the liver, not Prometheus or the eagle, but I'd rather be a giver than a taker or a faker. Everybody's just another paycheck to the undertaker. I've an allergy to strategy and inspirational quotations. My reaction's anaphylactic to vocations and to nations. Building moats and burning flags and bridges just as a precaution. If you need me, I'll be sitting on this island, bird watching. There's a flower in the compost and a beach below the pavement. We'll outlive the rich and famous if we remain aimless and patient, neither rising like a phoenix nor dying like the dodos. Let's leave the endless questing to the Sams and to the Frodos. Anthems are anathema, enough with rousing choruses. Achieving is as torturous as tickling slow Morrises. The search for more and better gives us worse and fewer options. Let's grow while we're behind and do some bird watching. Entrepreneurship is capsizing and it will surely sink. Jump and swim to Garbage Island, just sit and have a drink while everybody else is busy polishing their coffins. We'll be mixing cosmopolitans and bird watching.
All right, that was bird watching.
That was bird watching. Can I just make a
please
PSA?
do. Yeah.
So as we were sort of observing how that was going on Facebook, I don't know if YouTube is doing the same thing, but
I don't know.
there's like an automatic AI generated text, which is great in theory, but it's failing pretty hard with these lyrics. So please realize that this is not our subtitles that were added. There's one line that's supposed to be, "Let's leave the endless questing to the Sams and to the Frodos." It's a Lord of the Rings reference. It's a little book that you might have heard of. And the AI subtitler rendered that as, "Let's leave the endless questing to Santa." It's not the correct lyrics. So just FYI, when these videos are playing, if you're watching on Facebook, you should be suspicious of the robot doing the generation, of the words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's one reason why I believe that AI will probably never effectively completely take over songwriting.
Yeah, well, that's another conversation for another time. I think a lot of people write with AIs. I heard someone on the radio talking about that.
Yeah, no, I mean I think that there's I'm excited about the possibilities, I guess, but I just think that there's still Santa is not in that song. That's the thing,
Well, they wrote a new song.
Yeah.
So the last two we've released already, but this next song will be brand new to those of you who have not heard the record. If you're on Matthias's Patreon, you will have heard the record, but otherwise this is probably brand new. And I collected the live photos I could find easily to add a visual accompaniment to this song.
And should we talk about the song?
I think so, yeah. What would you like to say about it?
I don't like to pick favorites in any capacity, but this is a strong contender for my favorite song on the record. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not the catchiest, and it's not going to be a club anthem anytime soon, but I think it feels really personal to me, this song. It's a song called Dirty Microphones, and it's about a band in the future kind of feeling nostalgic about the olden days when they used to go on tour. And so it's in the world of the album, it's about reflecting on the good old days, which in the context of the album are what we would think of as post-apocalyptic. But I also wrote the song in the midst of the pandemic, and it is definitely inspired by and reflective of, I think, our own feelings of nostalgia for being able to play shows and travel around in a way that, I hope we get to do it again. But it knock on everything. But yeah, that's kind of where the song comes from. And it features Jake actually constructed a couple of instruments for this album, one of which you'll hear a little later. And in this one, he kind of has a homemade hammered dulcimer going on at one point. I'm spoiling it. But
it's cool to know about. Yeah.
That's what when the thing comes in that you're like, what instrument is that? It's Jake's homemade hammered dulcimer.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Here's Dirty Microphones.
Sharing dirty microphones with ska bands from the outer zones, dancing in our plastic skirts, trading kerosene for merch. Sleeping in your solar van, we had no worries and no plans. driving through the night to play a house show on the coast of Ohio. Oh no, 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 don't think about it. It's not like we can't live without it. It's just music. We used to play music. Showcased for 5 or 6 drunk kids at South by Southwest 56 in an abandoned Taco Bell. Got paid in chips and calorie shells. Your mom gave me her old guitar, the one she bought before the war. The pickguard still had bits of blood dried on it. Your mom was the coolest these days mostly. I don't think about it, she says. It's not like I can't live without it. It's just music. We used to play music. God knows we never got anywhere, although we went everywhere. It's past curfew, but the neighbors are away. Come down to the bunker, I'll set up the PA. It's not like we can't live without it. It's just music. We used to play music. Sharing dirty microphones with ska bands from the outer zones.
That was Dirty Microphones.
Yeah.
I just want to take a second and give props to Darren Brown on that song. He's playing fretless electric bass, and I think it suits it so well. And also to Janina McGilvery.
Yeah, Janina sang
vocals.
backups on that.
Yeah.
And then the string sound is an old Juno that is
That Ariel played.
lousy all over this album.
Yeah.
With great early 80s synthesizer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that song. It's a good one.
Thank you.
Nice work.
Thank you. Nice work playing it.
Thanks.
Yeah. This is very self-congratulatory.
I know.
This thing we're doing right now. I don't know. Hello, Internet. Do you want to hear us congratulate ourselves on how awesome we are?
Putting out albums is weird.
It is weird. It's a weird thing. It's like,
It's like really fun to make the music, and you want people to hear it, of course.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of please listen to my thing.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone can just like make a house music inspired record and drop it on the world like Drake did, and then get all the attention, So we
gotta drum it up.
We prepared a lot for this live stream. We made gin and tonics, and we put on sunscreen, and we got our dog a large marrow bone to keep her quiet for approximately 15 minutes. So we've worked hard at this.
That's right.
And I hope you enjoy it. We're gonna play a song that was technically just released as a single, like very recently.
Yes, this is called "The Last Normal Day," and then we put this together mostly in Jake's studio in St. John's, Matthias and I think, and then we sent it to Jake, and Jake drummed over what we had done, right?
Yeah.
In the Scamper, and we have again Krista and Kelly and Mara came back for some
Backup vocals.
sweet backup vocals.
And you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I sing a lot on it.
You
but-
sing a lot. Yeah. You were the choir leader.
Yeah, so I guess this is a bit of a turning point in the narrative of the record where, yeah. Or is it? I guess Dirty Microphones was. I don't know.
There's a
about
lot
the
of turning
narrative.
But the song, this whole album is sort of chronological in a very vague sense, and this song talks about what we might think of as the last. I mean, it's in the title, the last normal day, and I think it's really interesting to think about what normalcy means to us and how it's changed over time. A few years ago, before COVID was even a twinkle in our eye. That's the wrong expression, but you know what I mean. We've now entered a new stage where normalcy means, to some extent pre-COVID, but even pre-COVID, maybe for some of us, like normal meant like before 2016, before the Trump era, and then before that, normal, was something. But it's always something that we reflect on in the past, like, oh, things used to be normal.
And when they get back to normal.
And when they get back to normal, and we're sort of obsessed with this idea that time works that way, and it obviously doesn't, which is
Everything's always the new normal, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's a terrible phrase because
Yeah,
it's
it
just
is
constantly
terrible, but-
just things change.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And if you take a really broad view of history, we don't need to go down that road. Anyway, we should play the song. This song is also about the film Titanic.
It's a reference.
It's about the internet, and it's about kind of zooming in and out on our place in society. And it features an incredible saxophone solo.
I feel like I prefer the Empty World saxophone solo, but
This is an excellent.
it's still fun.
Don't nag yourself about your saxophone solo.
No. Yeah, okay. Here we go.
The summertime Santa on his dog a bandana, patterned with reindeer, they made a good team. He'd sit with his legs crossed beside the old kiosk. People gave him their quarters after buying ice cream. The sun on the mountains, the pigeons and fountains, the gulls in the garbage just doing their thing. The kids in the courtyard burning their report cards. I remember the chorus of the song they would sing.
It was the end of the internet and the things people made. Back when we didn't quite get it yet. On the last normal day.
Making dollar store coffee, brains fuzzy and foggy. The glare of the sunrise set fire to our screens. Watching things get destroyed, a brand new shot in Florida crept into our conversations and our dreams. At first entertaining, like the monkey cries painting, then far more alarming than a new Jesus face. Like watching a model ship sink in a bottle. It's just like an earthquake seen from outer space.
It was the end of the internet and the things people made. Back when we didn't quite get it yet. On the last normal day.
Saxophone.
Not everybody gets a raft or boat as Jack and Rose. Let's rearrange these deck chairs before we go. It was the end of the internet and the things people made. Back when we didn't quite get it yet. On the last normal day. It was the end of the internet and the things people made. Back when we didn't quite get it yet. On the last normal day.
That was the last normal day.
Yeah.
Who played what on that? Just
Well,
I played synth and saxophone.
Ariel played all of the Cars-inspired synthesizer.
Yeah,
That's all
really,
Ariel.
Yes.
Jake played the drums. Darren played the bass.
Mm-hmm.
I played the guitar, as usual.
And that's about it.
No, Jake
No?
also played the flute.
Is there
There,
flute on?
yes. What? There's the ring. There's flute on every song on this record, basically. Jake loves the flute, and he played it on almost everything. And I think that's about it. And then Krista and Kelly and Mara did backing vocals, and
killed it.
and totally killed it. The song it's still very confusing to me, that song, because it's a kind of a fusion of such disparate styles in a way.
Totally,
like the choruses are very Pixies. I always tell people that when I was growing up in high school, the Pixies were a band that I listened to all the time, and they were a huge influence on me. But you can't really hear it in most Burning Hell records. But I feel like in that chorus you can definitely hear the Pixies influence, and then the rest of it's kind of, I don't know, what's the rest of it like? Velvet Underground, Jonathan Richman, I don't know, but it's two different. It's a Frankenstein monster of a song in a good way, I think.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, we're self-congratulatory again. And I also there's some little references in there that I sort of wrote at the time and didn't think too hard about, and I hope that people pick up on. The Monkey Christ painting. Do people know what that is?
Of course they do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember, if you don't know, you remember a few years back, many years back now at this point, there was this elderly woman in Spain who tried to restore a painting of the Christ, and did what some people argued was a bad job, and then became kind of minor internet celebrity for it. And I still love it. I think it's an inspiring work of art, and that's what that lyric was about there. Mm-hmm. Anyway, a couple people have asked me about that.
Oh, really?
And,
okay.
I was like, everybody knows the Monkey Christ painting, but maybe not.
Well, it has a bunch of different names, I think.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beast Christ also.
Beast Christ. No. It's obvious. It looks a little like a monkey.
It does.
Monkey Christ makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so the next song is called Empty World,
Right.
and I really I love this song. This feels like a real pandemic song.
Oh, this is absolutely a pandemic song. Yeah.
What happened on this one? I played the saxophone.
Yes,
Again.
that's the important thing, that you played the saxophone. A very X-Ray Specs inspired saxophone solo.
Yeah, I was really going for it.
And I played a guitar solo through a new pedal that Ariel had just bought me for my birthday called The Robot by Death by Audio. Which is, I'm not a guitar effects person, and I barely have a tuner, but I would now consider the Robot to be an essential piece of gear for any gearheads out there.
Essential.
It's essential. It's the only sound you need. Anyway, and Judd Haynes, our good friend Judd Haynes, who has done a lot of Burning Hell designs over the years. He designed the cover for Public Library. He's done a ton of t-shirt designs and poster work for us, and he's just the best person ever. Mm-hmm. We recruited him to play bass on this song.
Yeah, I used to play bass in the band Winter Sleep, if that's familiar
and
to
the
anyone.
band Bucket Truck.
And the band Bucket Truck, yes.
Yep. And a little trivia bit that hopefully one day will become more of a public reality is that we also, in the sessions for this record, we did a cover of the Dead Kennedys song Moon Over Marin that Ariel sings, and Judd played bass on that as well. And we still haven't finished that one. It was never really intended that it would be on this record necessarily, but we wanted to do it for that. So hopefully one day soon there'll be a Burning Hell Dead Kennedys 7-inch or something out there.
Yeah, it's there, ready to be finished.
It's out there. Yeah, it's you that has to finish it.
I know. This is Empty World.
I wish I could hear the B-52s for the very first time again. Ricky and Fred, Kate, Cindy and Keith, forever and ever, amen.
I wish I could remember all the names of the trees that used to grow at the back of the yard, and listen to the sound of the rain on the leaves and see a raccoon's eyes light up in the dark.
But it's an empty world. Empty world. Empty world. Empty world. I wish I would have learned karate, or at least thought about learning karate. If I could have trained my body not to laugh at my brain, I could have maybe trained my brain to control my body.
I wish I could see the lights come on one by one in a block of flies. an empty world. Empty world. Empty world. Empty world. I miss the sound of karaoke, cowboys trying to sing Sweet Caroline. I miss the rides I never rode on, and I even miss the lines. I miss the screaming of the kids on the tilted road. Don't wanna be in an empty world. Lecturing other strangers about their children. I miss the different smells on every floor of my apartment building. I miss the kiss of summer beaches, the filthy taste of soft serve swirl. Don't wanna be in an empty. Don't wanna be in an empty. Don't wanna be in an empty world.
That was Empty
That
World.
was Empty World. We should mention that there's a video for that coming out soon, done by a filmmaker named Luke Woolley, based in the UK, and it's a lot of fun. I'm not sure exactly when it's coming out, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too. It's cool.
We did a little filming for it that he requested here, involving some very high tech lighting effects.
Yeah, I love how that turned out.
Yeah.
The inspiration was what, Rocky IV?
Rocky IV,
Yeah.
the driving scene in Rocky IV where he's like contemplating.
Yeah, we did a lot of thinking.
We did a lot of thinking, and at night, and we used a flashlight to simulate the headlights of other cars going by our car, which was just parked, and we were like, it's fun. It actually turned out, he suggested, I was like, no. I don't know if that's gonna work.
No,
and it turned out okay. Anyway,
cool.
You'll see that soon, I hope. And yeah, Empty World, there's also flute on that. Did you notice that?
Oh, of course. I know there's flute on that.
There's flute on every single song, including the next song.
Yes, the flute is featured on the next song.
Yeah.
So I remember when we were recording this album, we were living in Newfoundland for the most part for the winter, because it was a pandemic winter, and we live out in the country, as you can see, and it's great here a lot of the time. You can really get a lot of things done, including a lot of lawn maintenance.
A lot of thinking.
And thinking. But we were in St. John's, and that was great. And I remember Matthias coming home, having listened to classic rock radio, and he was like, Roxy Music, more than this. We need a song like that.
What?
Yes, you were.
I don't
And you
remember
went
that.
into the bath and you just listened to that song over and over
It's
and
true,
over.
I did. I remember
and
that
then
now.
I think this is what came out of it, which sounds nothing like
sounds
that
nothing
song.
like Roxy Music.
But,
I only wish it could sound like that. Anyway.
Yeah, but it's
This one is a funny one. This happens to me very rarely, but sometimes I'll have the experience of like I'll write a song and I'll finish it and I'll think like, it's not quite right and I don't know what it is, and then I'll leave it alone for a little while and I'll come back to it. And that's what happened with this. I had this song written with a completely different chord structure, a completely different melody, and a completely different feel. This song was originally quite a weird dancey song. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't working. It wasn't, the lyrics and the music weren't going together very well. And I almost never do this, but in this case I was like, oh yeah, and I was fooling around with like a very simple descending pattern on the guitar, and I was like, the lyrics sort of fit with this and it makes more sense. So this is a song, again, this is not going to be a club, this is not going to be like an international Ibiza club banger.
maybe a remix.
Yeah, there'll be a sweet remix of this, I'm sure, one day. Anyway, it's a small song, as I like to call it,
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's nice.
Every good album needs a slow song or two.
Our work is almost done here. We're down to the very last cop. Cop can't stand up, not with all of us on top. What about the militia? Good question, I'm glad you asked. They can't shoot us when we're dancing so fast. Let's make like a tree and leave. Let's make like stockings and run. Cue the little drummer boy playing us out. A-rup-a-bum-bum. Leave the city and hit the beach. Trade doom for danger. All the radio stations are static, but your car has a 6-disc changer. Tide's coming in, tide never goes out. Birds chatter on the dock, who knows what they're talking about. This one looks friendly, that one looks mean, but this old pedal boat Swan, she'll be the bird queen. You got the cooler, I got the deck chair, snorkel fins and goggles. There's a lot of water out there, little boat, big ocean. Just look at these white caps when the moon comes out. Bars open, time for a nightcap. Precious little corkscrew, so glad you thought of it. The wine's not good, but there's a lot of it. A toast to the patron saint of amateur mariners, insignificant others, and minor characters.
Minor characters.
That's minor characters, and
featuring Jake on the flute.
yeah, lots of beautiful flute. Really,
Yeah,
those are great.
He
Yeah,
really fluted to the max there.
yeah, killer flute.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess in the narrative of the album, that's kind of like the fleeing of the old world song.
Yeah, that's
So-
on the vinyl version.
yeah.
That's the end of side A.
Right. So side B is kind of in the new world of Garbage Island, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the running away song, and it's kind of nice to have a running away song. Oh, technically the next song is also a running away song.
Yeah, there's a few running away songs.
There's a lot of running away on this album.
I mean, I love the song Born to Run very deeply, and
Yeah.
I think a running away song is just about... Mwah.
The next song is called "Born to Run" by Bruce Springsteen. No, it isn't. But so now imagine if you're holding the record, you're flipping it over to side B. And this is a medley. There's a few moments on the album where the songs kind of bleed into one another, and most of them were able to
Right.
kind of separate
Yes.
track by track. But this one and the next one kind of go as a piece together.
So we'll just go straight into the
Yeah.
one after this, which is called Swan Boat.
The first one is called "All I Need."
Mm-hmm.
And this is the last song that we wrote for the record.
Yeah.
And this was not inspired by Roxy Music, unlike the last one, which I still find. I'm glad you remember that because I
That
totally
was
forgot.
funny. Yeah.
But I realized at some point when we were like almost done recording the songs for this album, I was like, all of these songs are in a major key, every single one of them. This is crazy, or in something close to a major key, and that's very weird. If you go back in the Burning Hell discography, you find most songs are in a minor key. That used to be my thing. I love all the keys. I don't discriminate against any of them. But I thought, this album needs something a little musically darker in tone. Although, that's a construct. We ascribe that to. I don't need to go down that road.
No.
But yeah, it needed something a little more. Yeah, I just needed a song in a minor key, and so I went to the studio, and I wrote the song in a day. And it was very fast. And the whole purpose of the going to the studio was like, I need to write a song in a minor key for the record. And I think.
And you'd been listening to a lot of Fairport Convention.
And I'd been listening to a lot of Fairport Convention. Thank you, Ariel. It's true. But I think this has actually, in some ways, become my real number one favorite song on the record. Dirty Microphones is close, but this one, All I Need, is my
Sounds
favorite.
really high up there for sure.
And it features some very special guests that I'd like to point out.
Oh yeah. There's tons of special guests on this one.
So we needed a ringer of a whistler.
Yeah.
And so we drafted Ariel's brother Jesse, who it's one of his many.
It's like a bird.
He's very talented, but He's always whistling, and he's just so good at it. And so we recruited him to whistle the part that I imagined as the sort of instrumental hook. And in the song that comes right on its heels, which is called Swan Boat, we recruited Ariel's dad to play lap steel in the well, mostly in the instrumental part, but all kind of throughout it.
Yeah, and in the transition between the two songs, there's a lot of field recordings of the ocean down at by our house, and
lots of birds.
Lots of birds that were sent in by a lot of
people on my Patreon. I should make a plug for
Yeah.
that. I never plug this really, but I do. I have a Patreon page, and it's patreon.com/MatthiasCom. And if you'd like to join me on there, I have a lot of fun with it. I hope other people have fun with it too. And it's a really great creative outlet for me. And yeah, you can find me there doing weird stuff. For example, if there's any patrons listening, I don't want to spoil this, but I just spent most of a day covering Call Me Maybe. So that's one of the many things I do on Patreon. In any case, a lot of people on Patreon sent in bird sounds for this record, and they're kind of scattered throughout the album, but especially on side B, they're sort of throughout. And there's birds from all over the world. We've got birds from Australia, New Zealand. We've got birds from Europe, from the UK, from the southern United States, from all over Canada. So it's pretty special. And bonus points if you can identify any of them. I know there's a few birders listening right now. Someone mentioned they were hearing blue jays in our feed. Littered with blue jays around here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm talking too much.
No.
Is it?
That's good.
Is it interesting?
I think so.
Oh, good.
I'm
Okay,
interested.
yeah.
But do you want to go to the song now? Or
Let's
do
go
you
to the
have
song.
other
Oh,
things to
yeah,
say?
and there's a reference right at the beginning of this song, the first of the two song medley, to the last radio DJ. And I'm curious to know who you think I'm talking about. I'm not going to answer the question necessarily.
You're not going to answer the question?
Well, no, I might answer the question. But a few people have heard that song and been like, are you talking about? I'm like, no, I'm not talking about. Anyway.
I mean, I know what the...
You know what the answer is.
Okay.
Other people have different guesses, but...
Yeah, well, it's a general... There's lots of radio DJs.
There are.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the last one, though? The last one in the world?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Would love to hear your thoughts. Okay, here's All I Need, and then we'll go right into Swan Boat. This is tracks 8 and 9.
Nobody cried when the last radio DJ died. He might have been a decent guy with a great collection of 45s, but there was no one left to hear him, to hear his strong opinions, to listen to his stories about the band he used to be in. And he looked like he was sleeping, slumped on the mixer in Studio B. And you and I searched the station for provisions and supplies. I took some novelty sunglasses they'd once given as a prize, which I still wear all these years later, the other side of the equator. These mirrored aviators reflect the white caps and the breakers. Yes, I'm quite a stylish sailor. All that I need is just you and the sea, and some food and fresh water, and something to read, an endless vista, the fancy pen I got for my bar mitzvah, and a semi-decent pair of water skis. That's all I need. The beach of broken glass is turning back into the sand that it was made with. Is this what the mariner meant when he said dry land is a myth? I know I once proclaimed I love the things that people make, but come on, for heaven's sakes, everybody makes mistakes. I miss the trees, I miss the lakes, I hate the things that people break down at the edge of this churning, shifting, floating raft of flotsam. There's a colony of concrete gannets the ornithologist has forgotten. We set them all up in a row. We put on an epic show. You play an improvised banjo, strings made out of nylon rope, stretched on a mannequin torso. Look how wild the gannets go. There's some magic here, I know, this pelagic archipelago. All that I need is just you and the sea, and the souvenir shirt, and this old DVD of the jerk. It doesn't work, and this toy Star Trek phaser, and my blazer with the patches and the tweed. That's all I need.
You're doing
that I need is just you and the sea and this picture of us recording no peace. A few moments of glory, I'll exaggerate in stories that I'll scrawl in scraps and ask you to proofread. That's all I need, and a melody that goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. La 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 la. That's all I need.
Last night I had a dream. Fires gleam like tiny diamonds. Smoke rising from the city. A smudge on the horizon. In a relic from a park, shaped like a swimming swan, we sailed away. We sailed away, just like an old and new song. Our feet on the pedals. Last night I had a dream. Fires gleam like tiny diamonds. Smoke rising from the city. A smudge on the horizon. In a relic from a park, shaped like a swimming swan, we sailed away. We sailed away, just like an old and new song. Our feet on the pedals, our fingers trailing through the blue. I'm sailing on a swan boat with you. To starboard there were stars, and port we had enough of. Small waves broke on the wings, persistent and percussive. Just beneath the waves, we heard sea monkeys growling, phosphorescent squid beyond Venetian dolphins. Our feet on the pedals, our fingers trailing through the blue. I'll sailing on a swan boat with you.
right. Sorry, everyone, for the little
Ariel's
mess up,
been
but-
trying very hard to respond to everyone's comments, and she accidentally hit stop music or something. I don't
No,
know.
I saw Jake was done his session, and I was like, oh, I wonder if we could zoom him in. But I can't like become a better live streamer on the fly.
No, you can't. It's something you got to go to
Need
school
Tim
for.
Crabtree here
Yeah,
to teach me how
he's
to
the
do
expert.
that.
But that was all I need, and then Swan Boat, and I want to give huge props to Jake for that last one in particular. He built a wine glass harmonica, aka the Winotron, for that song. All beautifully played, simulating what it would sound like to ride on a swan boat that you stole from an abandoned park and sailed across the Pacific to Garbage Island. That's what it was. The sound.
That's exactly what it would
of
sound
the swan
like.
boat on the waves is the sound of Jake playing the Winotron, there, and your dad playing lap
And
steel.
my dad playing lap steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm so Jake did so much creative recording and playing work on this record. It's really
Totally.
incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful.
Can I just
It's so fun to, yeah, this is, I mean, as we've said before, this is our first self-produced album, and Jake did a lot of that. He produces a lot of other people's albums, so it's not like this was new to him. And Matthias and I have been learning, and we did a lot of the recording, and it was so nice to work this way.
So
I really,
satisfying.
Yeah, we really got to kind of
I should say, like, I've
Yeah.
enjoyed every experience
Totally.
in every studio I've
Yeah.
ever had. I've never had a bad experience in a recording studio. I've loved it all. But this one was just felt like more. It was just special. I don't know. It was especially given the pandemic and the context and whatever. It was just like such a nice way to connect.
yeah.
With Jake and with all of our other friends that played on this record, and to connect with artists beyond musicians, which
That's
is
right.
my segue. Can
Yes,
can I do a segue?
absolutely. Do the segue.
It's been very important to me throughout my musical career to connect with non-musical artists, especially visual artists. I've been so inspired by so many people who make poetry and paintings and photography and design work and stuff like that. And I wanted to kind of go overboard. That's a little marine reference there for you, given the nature of the album with this one. And so I reached out to some of my favorite illustrators, and I designed, speaking of DIY, this is the first piece of graphic design I've ever done. This is the illustrated field guide to the birds of Garbage Island, and it accompanied the first 200 copies of the LP that were up for pre-order. We're also going to have some copies of this for sale on tour, separate from that. But it sort of tells like a companion narrative to the album through this fictitious, or is it, compendium of entries by future ornithologists of Garbage Island. And it features some of my favorite artists in the world. There's Sherry Boyle did the cover there, and she's got another piece on the inside too. We've got all kinds of folks. Ariel did these gannets here. Ben Holland from the UK did the map. I did a lot of writing for it, though you're not supposed to believe it's me. It's supposed to be other people. But well, no, this one I signed. That's actually me. But I wrote the text for all the other ones. But it's in the voice of these imagined future ornithologists. There's Jeffrey Lewis. We've got Boo Boo
Do you want me to
Tannenbaum.
try and
You
hold
can-
it up
oh,
a
yeah.
little bit closer to the camera?
Sure.
Then you can talk
I
about
can
it.
narrate it, sure. So on the first day, the birds all gathered in the fort. No, that's not the story. That's Boo Boo Tannenbaum there. We've got Matt Hooper, beautiful lino cut of gannets diving.
Yeah, I love this.
That's a gorgeous one. Yeah,
We're all
absolutely.
amazing.
Okay,
yeah.
on this page here, we've got Carolyn Clark from St. John's. A wonderful St. John's corner boy pigeon, and we've got the amazing Patrick Canning doing one of his typically incredibly intricate illustrations of a parakeet and an albatross, and so many other incredible things. Should we spoil the whole? I don't want to spoil the whole thing. Ian Williams of the great Welsh band My Name Is Ian did these little birds. He does these fantastic little quick paintings. That I love very much. Amelie Persson, based in Frankfurt, did the Swan Boat that we just showed as part of the visual accompaniment for the last song.
Do you want me to keep going?
Should
or
we keep? Should we?
I don't know.
That's another Sherry Boyle piece. Let's do the whole thing. We're almost
Yeah.
done. That's yeah. Well, you're skipping past. That's Colleen Coco Collins from Porkerville, Nova Scotia. Did all this selection of birds. She's a really enthusiastic birder and a great musician as well. So that's a whole collection of her stuff there. Oh, great. Darren, am I pointing at the right one if I do this? No.
Yeah.
Wait, there we go. This is, if any of you ever seen one of these birds, you have to tell me in real life, because they are not supposed to exist anymore. This is a dodo done by Darren Heyman. And then we've got Emi Tsumura, who did the album artwork for us. This is a bunch of her gulls of Garbage Island. The wonderful Shotgun Jimmy collaged this bird, which he called a trash smew, that I wrote a lot about, as you can tell. It really inspired me.
Jenny Sturgeon?
Oh yeah, Jenny Sturgeon. Yes. Oh yeah. This is an oyster catcher. Oh no, I'm getting so confused by the mirror image on the screen here. That's an oyster catcher. Jenny Sturgeon is an incredible musician and illustrator based in Shetland, who we stayed with a few years back.
Mm-hmm. And ornithologist.
And ornithologist, like professional ornithologist. We've got the amazing Toby Goodshank illustrating the Bird Queen. And then we've got David Herman Dune doing a blue yaya.
Oh, and that's the end.
And that's the end. And then there's space for your own notes. Anyway, I didn't mean to actually go through the whole thing.
Well,
I'm just kind of
neat.
I'm excited about it, and we'll have these comics, or I don't know, they're not really comics, I guess. It's a field guide. It is a field guide. You could take this out in the field. It's waterproof. It fits neatly in a vest pocket for the birders out there. So we'll have those a few of these on tour with us. Anyway, back to the record though.
Back to the record.
I just wanted to say that it's very important to me to collaborate with other artists.
No, and that's been a really exciting part about this whole album experience, because we had so much time and because we weren't just kind of like rushing out the album, just making an album. We got to collaborate with a ton of visual artists, including the guy who did the next video, which is for Bird Queen of Garbage Island. This is by Graham Patterson, who's a Sackville-based like animator and puppet maker and master artist guy, animatronics and all sorts of wonderful, surreal and beautiful things, and he works with birds a lot often in his artwork, so he was definitely the first person that we thought of to work on this video, and we couldn't be happier with what he made. And we went over and
we released this song. This is the first song we released from the album, and we did it back in November. And we actually put out a 7-inch of this one, backed with a B-side cover of Birdhouse in Your Soul by the Mighty Giants. This is the 7-inch right here. We don't have any copies. This is the last copy we have ourselves, but I think there's a few left in Ramsgate, where we had to abandon ship at the end of our last tour.
So we'll have some in the fall.
So we'll have a few in the fall, mostly for people in Nürtingen, Prague, and Vienna. And I'd say probably by the end of that we won't have any more. But hopefully you got one already. But we do have one more. Do we have time for a quick contest?
Sure, why not?
A quick contest.
Yeah.
So speaking of visual art,
you can leave if you want.
visual comics, visual art and comics and things like that. This comic book accompanied the release of the 7-inch back in November, and it's I just think it's wonderful. It's by an incredible French comic artist named Emmanuel Monod, and I won't show you the whole thing this time because I don't want to spoil it. But it's a narration of an interaction with the Bird Queen of Garbage Island, and it's fabulous. And I think we should give this away to a lucky winner.
Okay, what's the question gonna be?
What is the question gonna be?
I don't know.
That's the question.
Hey Ariel, pick up your phone. Oh, Jake. Okay, you decide the phone, and I'm gonna bring Jake into this.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, no, let's make Jake decide the question then.
Hi, Jake. What's up? Can we make you loud?
So meta. Jake's.
Here's Jake.
Jake's mullet is fabulous.
Can you see him? I don't know.
I think you can. Yeah, just hold that there. Just hold it steady.
There's Jake.
Wow, fantastic.
Whoa,
okay.
Wow, this is
like Inception all of a sudden. This is very confusing. Hey Jake, can you decide on a trivia question for a contest? You have a whole song to think about it. Okay, let's listen to Bird Queen of Garbage Island while Jake thinks of the trivia question from whence the winner will win this deluxe package.
Woo!
Here we go.
I dream in oily fluorescent swirls, I speak in plastic. My wardrobe is nylon and PVC, my band is elastic. It's hard to find decent drumsticks, but we've got bird bones and bits of buckets. And my drummer can't hit, she can really raise a ruckus. What's this crystalline crunching beneath my feet? It's just hundreds of fragile skulls of penguins and parakeets. Some died miles away in flotsam tears, some expired through violence. And when I say violence, I mean I'm the bird queen of Garbage Island. What's up with the duck with the plastic quack?
35 north, what's 35 south?
Who's the little girl with the map on her back?
42 north, 155 west.
Ask the macaque, ask the leatherback. I am the bird queen of Garbage Island. Gannets and gulls, petrels, puffins and pelicans. Make me a temple of nets and fish skeletons. Next take the buoys, bottles, dongles and ping pong balls. Build a wall all along the horizon and 10 times as tall. To an albatross with mischief in his heart, but I replaced it with this ball bearing painted to look the part. I'm a leader with a singular vision, or if you prefer, a cyclops tyrant. All hail the bird queen of Garbage Island. What's up with the duck with the plastic quack?
35 north, what's 35 west?
Who's the little girl with the map on her back?
42 north, 155 west.
Ask the macaque, ask the leatherback. I am the bird queen of Garbage Island. What's up with the duck with the plastic quack?
35 north, 135 west.
Who's the little girl with the map on her back?
42 north, 155 west.
Ask the macaque, ask the leatherback. I am the bird queen of Garbage Island.
Hi. Okay,
Okay.
we're back.
We're back. That was Bird
I'm
Queen
gonna
of
move
Garbage
this wine
Island.
glass out of the way.
Video by Graham Patterson in Sackville. Incredible work that he did.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Jake has prepared a trivia question based on that song. Hopefully you listened very closely, very intently to the breakdown in that song, because Jake has a question about how we made that breakdown musically. Jake, I don't know if he's going to be loud enough, but try and project, Jake, through the phone into the other phone.
So there were a lot of interesting sounds we put on that breakdown. Hopefully you can hear me. It's a multiple choice question. The question is, which of the following was actually used on the instrumental breakdown? So A is the sound of jumping on a bunch of clamshells, so like jumping up and down and breaking clamshells with our feet. B, the sound of a seagull eating an eel. So like the slappy sound of an eel as a seagull is eating it. C, the sound of a music box, tinkly little music box, or
There you go. We lost him.
Okay, or D, which was the sound of one hand clapping.
Yes.
So your options are A, the
sound of us jumping up and down on a bunch of clamshells. B, a music box. C, the sound of a seagull
Eating
an
an eel?
and kind of slapping against the rocks. We did a lot of field recording for this record, so that's a possibility. Or D, the sound of one hand clapping. And I should just say the first person to guess the correct answer wins this fabulous.
Okay, I don't remember what the numbers were.
Deluxe
Okay,
package.
someone said B over here on YouTube. Then there's some A's. A. Okay, so the answer is B.
Music box.
Music box. So I think on YouTube we had an early B from Mako. Yeah, it's yours.
It's yours. You
So
just have to
please send us a message.
Send us a message to one of our social media accounts or
Yeah.
anything like that, and
And
send
we
us
will
your
send
address
you
and we'll send you
this.
this. There
Beautiful.
were actually a lot. It's a bit of a trick question because there were a lot of different sounds that went into that breakdown in Bird Queen of Garbage Island, but the music box was one of them. And a little trivia factoid about Jake, he made a whole album out of a music box.
He did, yeah.
Which is available on his Bandcamp. It's incredible. Just go to Jake Nicol, Nicoll. Jake spelt the conventional way, Jake, Nicoll.bandcamp.com, I believe is the
That's
URL.
That's the
Of
URL.
the internet, and you can hear that fabulous record. And
Sweet, that's going to Texas.
going to Texas, amazing.
Amazing.
This may probably be the first one in Texas. That's exciting. There's only 2 songs left on this record.
There are, yeah. So let's get into it.
All right.
I feel like we're gonna lose people to the nighttime.
We're deep into Garbage Island now. We're
Yeah.
living on Garbage Island in the album, and this is like after many years of living on Garbage Island, we're going to a state where people have stopped really speaking. The remnants of civilization are not really talking much anymore. They're observing birds. They're going about their life. They're paying tribute and tithes to the Bird Queen of Garbage Island, but they're not really having a lot of conversation, and that's what the song is about. It's called Speechlessness.
Future home of Open Arms Church. The sign was old, near a stand of spruce and birch. We used it for a roof, the paint peeled in the rain. The evangelicals won't be needing it again. The plastic Japanese alarm clock's hands still glow. We'll know what time it is until the batteries finally go. A year ago I rolled my eyes when you would say we should really try to stockpile double A's. We're losing language to describe these things somehow.
Slurring words, pronouncing things wrong, dropping miles, stumbling over diphthongs.
We're acquiring an apocalypse now.
Who needs words to describe a future of
Ceaseless speechlessness. You fold your fingers in the shape of a bird. I kill a chicken for you, 'cause that's what I thought I heard. You laugh and take its wings and mime them as you say. What I meant was that I'd like to fly away. Life's a beach now, and that's no longer an expression. The air above us is filled with wings in every direction. The years go by, we watch them migrate and return. To everything there is a seabird turn, turn, turn. We're losing language to describe these things somehow.
slurring words, pronouncing things wrong, dropping miles, stumbling over diphthongs.
We're acquiring an apocalypse now.
Who needs words to describe a future of
Ceaseless speechlessness. We're losing language to describe these things somehow.
slurring words, pronouncing things wrong, dropping miles, stumbling over diphthongs.
We're acquiring an apocalypse now.
Who needs words to describe a future of
Ceaseless speechlessness.
That was Speechlessness.
That was Speechlessness.
Second-
I love that song.
The second, the penultimate,
It is the
penultimate track.
penultimate track. Yeah,
on the album.
and you can hear Jake smashing some metal.
Yep, at the end there.
At the end there, and some more of our field recordings.
More field recordings, more birds from my Patreon patrons, and we're coming up to the
And
last.
I had a lot of fun playing that synthesizer again, going.
Great synthesizer parts, Ariel. Incredible synthesizer work on this
Thank
record.
thank you.
This is your synthesizer debut, I believe.
It is, yeah.
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 You debut a new instrument on every.
Every record,
Yeah,
that's
every
my
record.
goal. Yeah.
Speaking of records, this is it. Here we've got the CD in front of us, at least.
Yeah. So the vinyl is
En route.
yeah. Sounds like maybe some of you in the UK have it already.
Yeah, some people have received it already. Some people, anyway.
It's made.
It's made. It's out there. It's going out into the world to people. It just hasn't reached us yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it looks a lot like this, but bigger. And the wonderful artwork is by Emi Sumura, a graphic designer and illustrator based in Toronto. She did an incredible job. I love her work so much. I made a stained glass piece based on one of her pieces last year. I could go on and on. Emi is great. Emi spells her last name Tsume. Mura. You can find her on Instagram and all the other social media platforms. I encourage you to follow her. We should make some plugs, I guess. This is the time. This is our last
Right,
chance.
okay.
So once
What do we
again,
have to plug?
I do run a Patreon. If you'd like to join me on Patreon, I'd love that. I have a ton of fun with it. It's patreon.com/MatthiasCom. Mostly we have to plug our wonderful record labels.
Yeah, BB Island in Europe and
You've Changed Records.
You've Changed Records in North America.
They've been doing incredible work. We couldn't do this without them. Literally.
It's been a lonely time to be a musician, so it's really nice to have people in your corner.
It's incredible. I also want to give a shout out to Vish Khanna, who has an incredible podcast called Creative Control, and just today he released an interview with us. It's episode number 696, if you can believe it. Just the other day, he interviewed David Cross. Before that, it was Wilco, Sonic Youth, Pavement, and stuff. So I feel very in hallowed company.
Absolutely,
and very honored to that we got a chance to talk to Vish about this record, and Paddington 2, and a lot of other things that are important to us. And thanks to all of you for tuning into this and for just following us.
Yeah, it means so much.
It means a lot.
Yeah.
It's been we don't need to go into this. It's been a horrible 2 years or 2 centuries or however you want to measure time. And we're excited to be playing shows again. Fingers crossed. We've been saying that for a while now, haven't we?
Yeah.
That shouldn't even tempt fate.
Yeah, I don't.
If you're listening, we're not playing any shows. Don't worry. Best laid plans and all that. But no, we are going on tour just in a couple weeks out to Vancouver and Vancouver Island Music Festival up to Dawson City. And then some more Canadian dates in the summer and fall, and then over across the pond in
Jolly
October.
old England.
Jolly old England and jolly old Germany and Austria and Czech Republic and so on.
Yeah, and I think I also want to just send out a shout out because I hung up on him by accident.
Oh, you did that?
No, my phone died. But to our collaborator Jake Nickel, who has been just one of our best friends for a long time now, and it was just such a joy to work with him. He's such a great creative mechanical brain, and if you take a harebrained scheme to him, he's the kind of guy that's like, okay, how do we do this? How do we make it happen? And that's exactly the kind of person we love to have in our lives.
Yeah. And I'm very excited to say that we have some new harebrained schemes with Jake coming up in the near future, which we'll tell you all about. I've already posted a little bit about it on Patreon, but it may or may not involve this solar-powered recording studio behind us, and future plans involving perhaps canal boats and all sorts of other things. So yeah, Jake, thanks for being part of our musical lives and our friend, and thanks to everyone else that played on this record and made it possible, because it's nice to be able to really mean it when I say that this is my favorite record we've ever made. So
yeah, I feel very proud of it, and I really hope that you will. Thank you for coming and listening to it this way.
Yeah.
And you can check it out on Bandcamp if you haven't already. You can buy it digitally or LP or CD there, and we'll be touring around hopefully again, or not with it.
We will.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
With it in the summer and fall, and you can get a copy from us in person that way too. So the last song on the record is called The End of the World, and this one Matthias basically recorded completely himself. He played everything on it. I sang on it, Jake sang on it, Jake played some bells on it,
Janina McGilvery sang on it.
sang on it, but other than that, this is all Matthias. It was recorded for the RPM Challenge, which is in February. There's this challenge that's very popular in St. John's where everybody is supposed to record an album in that month, and ideally write and record, which is what Matthias always tries to do. And it's a good way to kind of like shake loose a bunch of ideas. And this song came out of that, and
it seemed like it fit.
It fit perfectly
for this record, and
I think it's just a totally beautiful song, and again has that incredible Juno synth on it.
And I think it's a good capper to go out onto, because the record, I mean, if you've been listening to the words, don't pay attention to the automatic AI generated subtitles on Facebook, because they're mostly wrong. We don't do that ourselves. The robot gets it wrong. But the record is a lot about, it's a, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's some jokes in it, but it's not a funny record. It's a catchy, upbeat, sometimes, collection of songs, but it explores some pretty dark themes, and we wanted to end it on a note of hope, because after all the crap that we've been through, and after all the crap that we continue to go through, and all the ways that we look around and see the world getting worse, and see ourselves forgetting that we are part of a collective of human beings that we could really activate and empower to make our lives better. It can seem gloomy, but it isn't. There's always hope. So this song is about the time when we look back and say, the end of the world had an end. And that's what the song is about. So thanks for listening to our live stream album release. Thanks to Ariel for setting it up. Thanks to Ruthie for being quiet mostly for the whole thing.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's amazing.
She's lying right here being a good girl.
She
She just gets excited when greetings are made.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just go out on this one probably and just end the stream afterwards.
Yeah.
So thank you for tuning in.
Last song.
Yeah, this is the last song.
The end of the world can't last forever. One day this will all be behind us, you'll see. We'll be baby birds in a nest. We'll be ferns unfurled at the end of the world. Put away your troubles, shoot a crossbow for a while. Fur hat and pilot goggles, high-vis vest, I like your style. Let's plant a garden full of things that we can grow and trade for oil. Tap the trees for sap and leave the syrup on to boil. The end of the world can't last forever. One day this will all be behind us, you'll see. We'll be baby birds in a nest. We'll be ferns unfurled at the end of the world can't last forever. One day this will all be behind us, you'll see. We'll be baby birds in a nest. We'll be ferns unfurled at the end of the world. The sky is clear tonight and outer space is putting on a show. Each media a metaphor in a high school student's poem. Let's lay back on the grass and drink this booze we made from weeds. Connect the dots between the stars and any UFOs we see. They spell a message out for you and me. It says the end of the world can't last forever. One day this will all be behind us, you'll see. We'll be baby birds in a nest. We'll be ferns unfurled at the end of the world can't last forever. One day this will all be behind us, you'll see. We'll be baby